evening, depending on where you are in the world. I am very happy that you're joining in today for this gathering of lights, express and manifest. I would like to take just a moment to thank everyone for coming today and also for all of the organizing and all of the people who are going to be presenting today. I want to shout them all out. This is a truly fantastic group of folks that are being brought together, and I am so thrilled and honored to be a part of it. My topic today is manifesting personal healing through nature connection. There is a profound and deep healing to be found in nature and her rhythms. And today I am going to be sharing just a little bit about how you can begin to tap into these cycles and rhythms of nature. Doing this empowers you. Aligning to these cycles allows you to manifest this personal healing that I think all of us have some need for, and it will bring transformation and growth into your life. And it supports you in creating a life you love that's filled with peace and flow and joy. As humans, we all have seasons and cycles too, and it's a powerful process when we tap into our own seasons and cycles. And by tapping into Mother Nature's, it helps us to do that, to tap into our own seasons and cycles, and to help us understand better those things that we need. Connection to nature is something that many of our ancestors didn't have to think about because they lived close to the land and they were aligned with the seasons and the cycles because of it. But as a society today, we've become increasingly in artificial structures that separate us from those connections. The seasons and the cycles helped our ancestors to know when to hunt, when to plant, when to harvest, and when to prepare for the dark months of winter. The cycles of the moon and the changing seasons were a part of their everyday life. And today, many of us feel more apart from it than a part of it. To help regain those lost connections, I'm going to introduce you today to some simple ways that you can begin to tap into those cycles in nature once more. Doing this work is a little bit like modern day alchemy. We are taking the seemingly ordinary, which is the natural world around you, and sometimes it just goes largely unnoticed in our headlong rush through our busy days. So we take that and we turn it into something extraordinary, which is a pathway for our own healing. I love simple, elegant solutions. Sometimes we get fooled into thinking that if it's simple, that it can't really be the thing to help us. We're looking for something a bit bigger and maybe even a little sexier, because doing the nuts and bolts work doesn't feel very sexy, does it? It feels a little mundane and a little ordinary, and like it can't possibly be the thing that will help us find the joy, meaning, and purpose that we all want in our lives. But that's where we're mistaken. These simple things absolutely can, and they do. When we begin to focus on small daily actions, we create all of those things. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. If we haven't met before, my name is Karen. I wear a lot of hats and acknowledge a lot of names and labels, such as Wise Woman, Crone, Nature Priestess, Green Witch, Eclectic Pagan, Shamanic Practitioner, Animist, Reiki Master Teacher, Spiritual Teacher, Coach, and Guide, just to name a few. My work centers around reconnection to Mother Earth as a way to promote healing and to help reconnect you to your own soul. I create sacred containers where women are heard and seen and supported and inspired, using both practical and magical things, which today will be a little bit more practical than magical, to create transformation and results. And I always, always favor these simple, elegant solutions. Now, there is a more magical side to this work, and that is the focus of the newest class that I'm actually putting together right now that's going to be launching in 2023. That will be more of a sacred journey through the wheel of the year for even more connection to nature's rhythms. But throughout all the programs I offer, and even today, this big goal that I have is to help women discover their authentic selves, identify what they truly want, let go of old programming that stands in the way, and heal old wounds and old patterns, be able to hear the inner voice that helps you move forward in an empowered way and creating that life that is filled with peace and flow and joy and meaning and purpose. And I think a lot of us are missing that in our lives right now. And of course, if you'd like to know anything about any of those other things, you can find it all in the links that are provided with this program. But manifesting personal healing through establishing connection to nature is a journey that I myself have taken. There was a point in my life when I absolutely hated my life so much. I woke up every day. Actually, that was like the first thought of my day, is how much I hated my life. And it was hard to get through every day. It just, everything was such a challenge. It was a mess, and nothing seemed to be working out, and there didn't seem to be solutions or a way out for it either. And I was depressed, and that depression led me to a place where suicide really seemed to be my only solution. So this was a real low point for me. And if by chance anyone listening to this today is feeling like that, please, please reach out for help. There are things that can help you. And if you don't have anyone, please feel free to reach out to me. I will connect you with the resources that can help you. You are so valuable here. And, I know how hard it can be. So my own healing journey had a lot of facets, and it spanned over a number of years. But there were some very key pieces that really made a difference in how I view the world and how I feel. And these things that help shape that path forward have now become, the very inspirations and foundations of everything that I do today. I know that healing is not linear. It's more like a spiral, and sometimes it feels a little bit more like a scribble, but it's definitely not linear. So we have days that we feel, good, and we have days that make us feel like crawling into bed and staying there, and that's all a part of it. That messy middle piece sometimes can really make us feel like quitting. Whereas then there are other days that just feel really powerful, and then, we'll go back through these cycles. Healing is usually multifaceted, and for most of us, we need a bunch of different tools to get there. As we take these healing journeys, I know that I've used coaching and Reiki and journaling and meditation and healing creativity. But reconnection to Mother Earth and her rhythms and seasons has really helped me to understand those cycles that I go through, those days that I feel very powerful and those days that I don't feel very powerful. They all have played a very significant role in helping me to be able to understand myself better. And I think that's really the gift that we get by doing these simple things that help to reconnect us. And these are tools from my very personal toolbox, things that I've used for myself with good results. So before we dive into it, in all of my classes, I always encourage my students to set an intention for the class. What is the thing that you most want to have from this experience? So you might just want to take a moment now, even. I feel like I've got something like bothering me here. You might want to take just a moment to take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and think about what you would like to take away from this presentation. So I'll give you just a moment. Just, take a good deep breath in. Let it out very slowly and just set your intention for today. Okay, got it? All right, great. So the first thing that we always need when we're using any tool to create any type of healing or affect some type of shift in our life is awareness. Awareness of what you want to do and why you want to do it. And this step is so important, and a lot of folks kind of like to skip it. But without it, there's no way that you know if what you're doing is actually working. So once you have that in place, then I want to share with you today some simple exercises that you can use to begin your journey of reconnecting to Mother Earth and her beings. So the first exercise is what I call the awareness exercise. And again, it's the first step to change. It's that nuts and bolts, very practical piece that I mentioned earlier. So we want to become aware of her. And this can be a process that takes a little bit of time and practice and a little patience maybe before it becomes automatic, because we are all so conditioned through our society and through our jobs and through all of our influences that we've taken in to be in a hurry and not look around at what's around us. We have things to do, we have places to be, and we've been taught that being busy is a badge of honor, and it's not. So I would ask you today to consider putting that aside, that idea, that notion that being busy is somehow a badge of honor. You might need a little patience with this exercise if you're new, because it can feel a little bit, unnatural, which is kind of a funny word to use, but it does have almost an odd feeling at first. So carve out a little bit of time in your schedule and treat this time like a bit of self-care, because that is really what healing is all about, taking care of you. And again, we are so conditioned not to do that, and especially as women. So again, just treat it as that little bit of self-care. Make an appointment with yourself and then keep it. You'll begin very simply just by going outside and finding a spot where you can just observe. It might be your backyard, it might be a spot in a park. And, it's best done where you're surrounded by nature and her elements. But if you don't have access to that type of environment, you can make do by looking at nature images, either video or still images. And your public library is probably a fantastic spot where you can find one of those big, thick coffee table books that is just full of nature images. And it's sure to be a quiet spot where you can do that bit of introspection and you won't be disturbed. So once you've found whatever your spot is going to be, you could set a timer on your phone for, 15 minutes or whatever time you have, and then just be with it. The timer will help you to not watch the clock. And, you can think of this a little bit like a meditation, but unlike traditional meditation, this one requires your attention. So you've set your intention to have an experience that's perfect for you, and you become an observer. You bring in that childlike wonder of seeing everything around you for the very first time. I think of this as seeing the world through the eyes of an artist. And I know that there's a lot of folks in this community that are very artistic, and they have a lot of creative expression. So for those of us who aren't normally that way, it can be a little bit challenging to do that. But if you think of it that way, a very childlike kind of wonder, the eyes of an artist. You want to notice what you see, what you feel, what you hear, what you sense, what you can smell. What does the air feel like? Notice the temperature. Is there a breeze? Does the breeze have a scent? Notice the colors, the textures, the lines, the contours, the movement, or the lack of it, and geometry. If you're working from images or video, you might have to engage your imagination just a little bit more for this part of the exercise, but it's still very possible to get a lot out of this. Then consider what's triggered in you with these things. What's triggered by the things that you're seeing, sensing, or feeling? Do you have a sense of wonder? Or maybe it sparks within you a sudden desire to travel. Maybe you're visiting a place that you've never been, or maybe it's familiar. What does that bring up for you? And there is no wrong experience in this exercise. This is just to mentally note the things that you're experiencing. Are you feeling any specific emotions, joy, or maybe a wave of sadness? Allow yourself to just feel whatever is coming up for you. Don't judge it and don't try to modify it in any way. Just allow it. Do you feel like there's a message being shared with you from the natural world that you're experiencing? Again, there is no right or wrong experience here. Just allow it and trust that you're receiving exactly what you need to right now. You might even want to journal about this later. In fact, I encourage you to do that. Journaling is one of the foundations of everything at Ravynwood because of its very, very powerful transformational ability. If you can, always choose a handwritten journal over an electronic version. I think that writing has its own powerful way of benefiting you and increasing the results that you get from creating and maintaining a journaling practice. So you'll close your observance exercise, then this awareness exercise, with either a prayer of gratitude or just by simply saying thank you to Mother Earth and her beings. Do whatever feels right for you. I don't believe that there's any one size fits all approach to anything. So you really cannot get this wrong. This simple exercise of awareness gives you a chance to slow down, observe, and to feel that you are a part of the nature around you. It restores your sense of wonder as you begin to see things with fresh eyes. It can be repeated as often as you like, whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever schedule you have, just make it work for you. I should also note here that, this is a great beginner activity, but it's something that's also equally suited to anyone who is further along on the path and just feels like you need to tune into the world around you. It's a very good way to raise your vibration for times when you're feeling kind of low vibe. It just going outside in and of itself and taking a moment to just breathe can be a very therapeutic kind of thing. As a bonus activity to this, you can, if there's something that really appealed to you, maybe it was a tree that you felt particularly drawn to, or an animal that appeared to you, or a flower that you noticed, or maybe it was even a weed. You can do a bit of further research and find out all that you can about whatever it was that so took your attention. Then you could journal this out or create a separate journal that's dedicated just to this type of activity. This is a great way to both deepen your knowledge and your connection at the same time. In the intro, I mentioned that, we often overlook these small action steps, thinking that there has to be something so much more complex than that, but it really isn't. This very simple exercise focuses on small daily actions that support the healing that we seek. It is meant to kind of encourage you to take that time to pay attention to what's around you every day. By carving out a little bit of time, you begin to bring that awareness. And by building that awareness, you begin to develop a habit. And by developing a habit, you bring in that healing that nature offers us up every day. A variation of this exercise that you can include is walking or hiking in nature. And I think this is one of my favorite ways to take in the wonder of Mother Earth. I do as much hiking as I can because it is so good for my soul. Now, depending on where you live, it can be, something that's easy for you to do, or it can be something that takes a little bit more planning to pull off. But it's definitely an activity that, again, just really has the ability to feed your soul, reduce your anxiety. And there's even evidence to support that walking will work wonders for your health and well-being. Everything from improving your fitness to reducing stress and anxiety. So there's actually some very practical benefits to be derived from it. But I think that my favorite things are, the imagination that it sparks, the inspiration that it sparks. It allows time for my mind to just wander, and I can notice things and soak in all of that tranquility that nature offers. I think all of us have heard, I'm going to go for a walk to clear my head. That's a pretty commonly used phrase, and it really does work like that. It's something that, again, if you can fit this in, I think that we really get the most benefit from it when we do something like that. And it becomes like a moving meditation for us. And of course, meditation can feel really hard. So by making it a moving meditation, it sometimes feels a lot easier. So here's another way that you can use to reconnect to nature and the things that are found there. And again, it's super simple, and it's just simply to fill your space with natural elements. Artwork, framed photos that you yourself took. These are great places to begin, and none of this needs to be expensive. Animal figurines of things that you feel drawn to. And they also can be very reasonably obtained for not a lot of investment. I have a bunch of those little animal figurines that used to come in the red rose tea boxes. And those can be found in thrift and antique markets. They're small, they can easily be placed on your desk or on an altar. You could include drawings that you do yourself, and healing creativity is a wonderful way to bring in that additional bit of healing and self-expression. And it doesn't really matter how they turn out. It's you're not going for museum quality here. So you're really going for something that's meaningful, deeply meaningful to you. And if you post them on your fridge or a bulletin board, seeing them every day is a reminder of your connection. During my own journey, photographs became a way for me to observe nature and her beings and to begin to see the world differently, spending time connecting and getting that bit of healing creativity. And a lot of those photos now have become images that I share on my Instagram. Someone recently described my feed as her escape, which I absolutely love in that way, because now those images have become not only healing to me, but also to others too. And by the way, if that resonates with you, you can find me on Instagram. It's at Ravynwood. I love sharing those images over there, and mostly these are things from the heart of my rural home. So they have an additional bit of meaning for me. So when I go out on hikes, I usually will ask for gifts or surprises to be found along the way. And very often I'm rewarded with feathers. Sometimes it's songbirds, sometimes it's wild turkeys, sometimes I don't know where it came from. Rocks with unusual shapes, branches that are perfect for either decoration or for maybe making a wand, leaves that are unique in some way. And one time I even found an owl pellet. Again, this is a really small thing, but it serves as, reminders of your connection to the natural world. So you can also do that by setting that intention to find something, a gift that will be something then that can serve as that visual reminder of your connection for, also for making time then with Mother Earth. And then the last exercise that I have that will help you in a very fundamental way is grounding through earthing. This is a super simple exercise, just like the previous two. And in its simplest form, earthing is just about putting your bare feet on the earth. And it can be done in your own yard or at the beach, in the forest, in your garden, a shallow stream. Anywhere is appropriate for just simply making that contact. When your skin actually touches the earth, you bring that healing of Mother Earth into your life. It helps you relax and feel more centered and in control. It helps you come into the present moment. And as humans, we have a tendency to spend a lot of time ruminating about the past or thinking about the future and worrying about it and all of the things that we have to do. And so we don't live in the here and now. And this creates an imbalance in body, mind, and spirit. So earthing can help you create that balance that we're missing. You just take off your shoes, put your feet on the earth, and suddenly everything makes more sense. You can kind of do a variation of this by hugging a tree. Choose a tree in your yard or one in a nearby park or something on public grounds, maybe. I usually ask the tree's permission before I do this and wait until I intuitively hear a yes before I proceed. I then just move into the tree and I hug it like it's my best friend. When you do this, allow that contact to bring you that bit of calm that you're looking for. You can even imagine your stress just flowing away by visualizing it, just kind of flowing right out of you and down into the earth where it's neutralized. I have a wonderful, beautiful old tree in my yard that I use when I want to do this. It's a beautiful walnut tree, and I refer to her lovingly as Mother Walnut. She's sort of like the guardian of all of the land here. I didn't talk about spirit of place earlier, but spirit of place is something else that, once you begin to have this awareness, you can begin to work with that feeling that you get, the spirit guardians that exist on any piece of ground, and you can begin to introduce yourself to them and work with them in much the same way. But Mother Walnut is, for me, this wonderful, sentient, being that is there to help me, to help, when I need that bit of guidance, I will go to her and just, really, really tune in and then listen. It's my job to just listen and allow for that guidance to be heard. So we've talked about how these very simple things can support your healing journey. The beauty of it is that these are all simple, they're all portable, and you can repeat them at any time that you like. They will help you build in calm and balance and make room for clarity and self-care. So there's this multiple thing that will happen just by taking these small actions. And really, these simple exercises combined with small daily actions really support you in manifesting the healing that you need. There's a lot more that you can do beyond these things, but this gives you a wonderful place to end. It gives you a wonderful place to reawaken that connection that if you feel like you've lost it, this is a wonderful way to reintroduce it. In my own journey, nature has helped me reconnect. It's helped me rediscover, realign. It's helped me recover. It has helped me find my voice, trust my intuition, become unapologetically me, be authentic, walk away from things that are not meant for me, understand who gets a seat at my table, and so much more. So these things become the real benefit of these reconnections. And as I continued to connect, my healing became more each day. No more depression and no more meds. And, I still have a few bouts of anxiety now and then, but it has become manageable through all of this work. And then another byproduct has been to create that place of joy and peace and flow as my default, and to love my life in a way that I never did before. And so that is what all of this work can bring, this reconnection and these small daily actions. So while we have only barely scratched the surface today of the depth of healing that connecting to Mother Earth can provide, I would like to leave you with this takeaway. Working with Mother Earth, reconnecting to her seasons, her cycles, and her rhythms help us better understand ourselves, our own seasons, our own cycles, our rhythms, and then supports us in our personal journeys of healing and transformation. That is it for me today. I want to send you all so many bright blessings. And I hope that you will be sure to tune in for all of the folks who are coming after me. All right, bright blessings to you all. Blessed be.